258 Radio Impound podcast. Jason Rona's over there, back from INS. 2 weeks already. Well, not 2 weeks exactly, but a week and a half maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we've been busy at the shop. We got other events going on. So, yeah, it's good to kind of get out and get back here talking about some RC racing and what's coming up, what we finished, and kind of what's next.
And then I get the Puxatani virus again.
Yep.
So I kind of delayed things, but here we are. I'm still not feeling up to the challenge that's been presented to me tonight. But we wanted to get a podcast in right before Jason heads out to the Monster Truck World Finals in RC Madness this weekend.
That's right. We got the RC MTC group doing their annual World Finals, and we're having I'm doing a little work at the shop trying to get some new bodies cut out and ready. So I'm excited. And Rich is up there right now because he was at a scale off-road event called Super Shafty Fall Crawl.
Like Super Shafty Fall Crawl.
That's right.
And say that like a few times in a row.
Yeah, and he was in Maryland for that. We got all the pictures up from him visiting and being there at that event, and that's on the Facebook page now. And we put a few on the Instagram page, but that's good to get. It's a competitive crawling event, so they do competitions, and Rich was there for that, and he's hanging out in the Northeast. And gonna head over to Madness.
Super Shafty crawling event. Wow, that's what a name. So did the J Concepts team dominate there?
I don't think we dominated, but we did well.
I was gonna say, can you dominate the crawling events?
No, you can.
Is there rock racing still? Is that a thing anymore?
They did have it there, but this is more about like the scored crawling event. So
okay.
So that we did place very well. We had some new products we showed. We had some great ambassadors out there for the brand, obviously including Rich in the booth. So, it's just great to get to those events, as well as, we do a ton of race events, but it's great to also hit like the scale truck events. And then like we're going to do the monster truck event at RC Madness. So before that, we had our biggest J Concepts race. Traditionally, our biggest J Concepts race of the year, which is this Fall INS. And the Fall INS is usually one of our biggest here at Hoosier that we were going to talk about. And then on top of that, they also had the race at Adrenaline, the Invitational. They always have there at the Hardison's track in Winchester, Virginia. They always have the Invitational during the early part of October. So looked like that went pretty well. I stopped by over the weekend. They had a Florida RC Championship race over an Epic RC Raceway, which is over in Newport Richey, Florida. So that was 8 scale. So we're at a scale truck event. We're here at the INS 13. There's an event in Adrenaline. We had just so many things going on, and then we got our carpet NCTS event actually is coming up this weekend. I'm sorry, not this weekend, the next weekend, along with the Masters of Dirt that Kyle's talking about here.
Oh, there you go. Kyle's saying, Jason, are you racing at the Masters of the Dirt this year?
I'm actually not, because I'm going to be up at our carpet race, the NCTS in Iowa. But It looks like the Masters of Dirt is probably going to be the most stacked field that we've seen in quite some time there at the Masters. It'll be fairly similar to the event that's going on in the background here. We got the INS level of competition. You know, you look at the driver's stand here, we got Tom Rinderknecht, we got Lee Setzer, we got the world champion Tater Sontag, we got the intergalactic champion Ryan Mayfield, then we got Aiden Horn, Spencer Rivkin, Brock Champlin, Davey Bata, Dakota Fend, and Brennan Schimmel there on the driver's stand. So those are kind of the same kind of guys that are going to be at the Masters doing work. And Paul Wynn's going to be there supporting the team. And me and Tyler are going to head over to Iowa and do our carpet race. So we're going to be in two places at once.
Wow. I mentioned to you at this Taters racing here.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like my idea of sitting out 10 scale racing for the next 2 years into the Worlds?
Like him?
What?
You're saying that Tater sits out for 2 years?
Yeah, just don't let anybody race against you into the next Worlds. Just race 8 scale. I mean, I'm sure the sponsors won't like that, but how awesome would that be, though, just to sit out and like, you know, you don't win a race, then they're, you know, like here, you didn't win this race, right? So the other guys are like, oh, well, we beat them, you know? It's like, well, you know what? I sit out for 2 years. You guys can't touch me until the next Worlds.
Yeah, it's like you got to become a number one contender or something to take them on.
Right, exactly. You have like a Money in the Bank race where you got to cash it in and race Tater.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I don't think I would race. I think I would be like, I'm not racing 10 scale. I'm the 10 scale world champion. I'm not racing until the next Worlds. That way nobody could say, well, I beat him at the INS race, you know.
Yeah, he's like, you want to race me? Come run the next Worlds. We'll race.
Exactly. Meanwhile, I'll be in 8 scale racing.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to think about that kind of stuff. You can't do it because you got sponsors to represent, and everybody starts wondering why, right?
I don't know. You just come out and tell them. I mean, you hold a press conference and you say, look, I'm not racing 10 scale.
A presser.
Hold a presser and say, that's it. You guys want to beat me? We'll see you in 2 years. Why can't they're not going to drop him as a sponsor. Nobody's going to drop him. And he's going to still be racing anyway, 8 scale.
You could get the wrestling stuff going where you have promos with Tater where he's like, people are calling him out.
Yeah, right.
Why aren't you racing? Why aren't you racing? He's like, I don't have to race you. I'm the world champion.
Yeah.
Take a number, buddy. Everybody wants to take a shot at me.
Yeah. It's like when they don't race the third main after he had it sewed up in the second. It's like, you know what? I'm not going to race again until the next Worlds.
I'll see you in Australia in 2025.
I just want to see somebody do it. And like I said, he could still race all the other things, 8 scale and whatever else is out there.
Yeah, watching this video of the INS here in the background just giving me nightmares of this front jump section. This
dude, the racing here was amazing.
Everything was going so easy, not easy, was going fine until these guys convinced me to jump this quad in front. And man, what a mess.
Oh, that's right. Man, I should have had that on loop. I clipped it and everything.
Yeah, when the guys started convincing me I needed to jump this front quad, I was just like,
convince you?
You know, I was doing perfectly fine, just doing my triple single. I wasn't going to win anything, but I wasn't. I think I could have finished in the top 3 or 4 of my class. I wasn't particularly fast on this track, but then they convinced me to jump the quad, and man,
gave in the peer pressure.
I did.
Wow.
And they asked me afterwards, so how was it, in the one qualifier? And I was like, yeah, it seemed like it wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. And I ran a qualifier. I was jumping it. Sure, I made some mistakes, and then come the main. Whew, man, I was doing
Yeah.
I was doing back flips, front flips, taking out the leader. It was really a pretty
Yeah.
pretty ugly
You're
scenario.
you're pretty upset
Yeah, I was just upset that
that you gave in.
yeah, I should have been a little more conservative.
Should have just ran the race that you knew.
That's right. But
Wow.
you know what? The race was awesome. This track was really cool. The track photographs very well. It drove very well. Just completely different, coming from the Worlds, which the Worlds wasn't that long before this. Coming from the Worlds and then stepping into this, such a completely different feeling and atmosphere at this kind of event. The surface, the way it drove was so much different than the Worlds, and yeah, there was a lot of guys that really enjoyed this track and the surface, and I think that they're all going to be back. They got their big Clash of Champions event that happens in January. They've already been promoting it, and I think that we'll probably see a really good turnout there again, being at the beginning of the year. But this is the big incident here that happened. That was amazing that actually happened, but Mayfield goes by and gets the win here.
Yeah, that was nuts.
But yeah, so they're going to have their Clash of Champions in January. I see another good turnout for that, and I know they were talking to me about possibly coming out again for that.
Oh, they invited you back to this track?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're obviously inviting everybody to come back to the.
I mean, after your main.
Yeah, no kidding. No,
Yeah.
It'd be inviting myself. Do I want to invite myself back?
Right. Exactly.
I don't want to invite myself back to the driver's stand after that one. So this is Dakota and Spencer kind of having a conversation about how that race ended, and
there you are, right there. Look at you.
Mayfield saying, "Hey, thank you. I'll take a win." Yeah, very odd set of mains in that one, or in this race. We had Ryan who took the A1 here, and then all these races went down to an A3, I believe, and Aiden Horn ended up getting the overall in two-wheel drive, and Dakota Fenn got the overall win in four-wheel drive. Sammy Moran, he's out there. You can see he's out there and blowing the track. But he actually won the overall in 17.5, 13.5, and great race overall. It was really good to be there. The weather was super nice. Everybody's super accommodating. We had a great pit area. So, yeah, the Henleys that run that track, they did a nice job, and I'm looking forward to going back.
And again, the coverage was really good.
Yeah, we had Matt back with Mod Live Media, and Chris, who comes with him to run the camera, and we had Jason Bollinger, who was doing our media at this event, and yeah, we did some different things. We kind of let Matt do the video. He was live, and Jason Bollinger did our media coverage and covered it in photos. And we did it a little bit different, and we did a couple car features. He brought his lighting equipment, and obviously without Hannah, now we had to kind of do things a little bit different than we're accustomed to. And right now we're kind of on a, on a program where we're kind of trying to plug somebody different in almost in each of these events to get our media coverage taken care of. And we're going to be a little spotty here on getting everything kind of ironed out each and every time for a couple months until we get sort of a routine down. But I thought it went pretty well considering, and it was a good event. I mean, dinners afterwards. I mean, I've never seen so many people laughing so much. I mean, Lee was cracking up everybody, and Mayfield was falling out of his chair laughing so hard at Lee.
What the hell?
Everybody else. It was just our dinners were epic. And yeah.
You have a banquet?
No. Just our regular dinner. Just getting together for some dinners at night. And man, those some good times.
They were laughing about your mane.
They probably didn't even need to do that.
All right, so I should scroll around here and find the A2 probably, right? I can let it play.
Yeah, you can let it play. Yeah, one thing that's really nice is at this event is they have really a lot of pit space, and they have a whole room that they can also let the racers pit in, which is kind of next to the hobby shop away from the track. So I think that that was kind of nice. I really enjoyed that, pitting just a little bit away from the track. I didn't think I was going to like it at first, but it actually worked out pretty nice. And I think that was kind of a bonus to the weekend.
Matt Olson checking in. There you go. Good job on the coverage there, Matt. Enjoyed it. I watched the mains. I was checking them out. I was texting you at the same time. Maybe that's what it was. You're trying to check your phone while you were racing.
Mel, I was checking it while I was driving, probably.
Mel Marks says, "Is Hannah still in the RC business?"
Not in the RC business. Other than, her family owns the Track Adrenaline and a hobby store in Chilante. Is that what it's called? Chilante, Virginia. Chantilly, that's it. Chantilly.
Fragile. Sounds Italian.
Chantilly, that's it. So they have two hobby shops, one track. So their family's in the RC business. And then obviously she's, with Lee, and Lee's obviously heavily involved as a racer. And I'm sure she still gets plenty of racing talk, and she feels like she's part of the business. But at the moment, not necessarily, as I understand, not in the RC business, but she's in the RC business because everyone around her is in the RC.
Exactly. It's in her blood.
Exactly. You can't run too far away. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I'm watching this video of this track, and I mean, it wasn't even 2 weeks ago, right?
Right.
And the Worlds was it even a month ago? The Worlds was
the 16th. The 9th through the 16th. So this was what, 2 weeks later?
Yeah. So the Worlds was a month ago. I mean, it's amazing how fast things move by today. I mean, in the old days, man, I used to just mull over Worlds and national events
for months.
Yeah. And now it's like, I mean, it's like a week later and you're just moved on already.
You guys race a hell of a lot now.
I mean, it's the Worlds, you're supposed to be thinking about, and that's supposed to, mean something for a considerable amount of time. And it really means something for maybe one more week.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it happens so fast. There's so many of events, and the coverage is so great at a lot of these. And I think that it still does mean something, but you just don't. It's just not like it used to be in the old days. Where I mean, you're thinking about it for months and months, like, and now,
Yeah, now you guys are going right back to this race, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like, if I was Tater, I'm sitting out because these guys are like, well, I beat them. Yeah, I had a bad Worlds, but now I beat them.
sit it out.
Like, yeah, just sit out. Yeah.
So, and
We came up with
sorry. And we, in between all this, these guys have, Mayfield's been to the 8 skill track doing some practice. Spencer's been building new cars for upcoming races. Mayfield built a stadium truck. I mean, he hasn't run stadium truck in probably 4 years, and he built a stadium truck for the Masters of Dirt. And it's just you're always doing something, and you just can't live in the past in any of these in this business, because it's just always moving forward, and there's nothing you can do about that last event. All you can do is move on to that next one, and it's coming up, and it always comes up so soon. So and what was interesting is I talked to Tater a little bit there on the driver stand, and about the Worlds and everything. And I almost feel like he's probably the first world champion that I ever talked to that he just said, he's like, hey, the way I look at it is, he's like, it was my weekend. He goes, my stuff was running good. I was driving good. And it just so happened that it was at the Worlds. And he's like, it could have been at this track. He's like, my weekend could have been at this track, and I could have TQ'd and won for some reason. He's like, but my weekend was at the Worlds. And he's like, that's just kind of how I'm approaching it. Like, I think, and what I kind of got out of that is, I didn't get the impression that he believed, now I'm the best driver in the world, and or that I'm better than Dakota, or I'm better than Spencer. He's saying, hey, I'd had my weekend. I was happy that I was able to do it against those guys, but I realized that I have to race them all the time, and I'm not going to tell you that any one of us is better than the other,
Right.
And I thought it was really kind of mature for him to say it that way, because I think a lot of people do win Worlds and then they immediately say, well, I'm the best in the world. And, and it's easy to think that because I'm the world champion. It's easy to think that because I'm the world champion, but it is only one race. And it's not like you play a whole NBA season or a whole NFL season and you win that 7-game series in the finals, or you win that Super Bowl after the playoffs. It's one event, it's one track layout, and everybody puts their cards on the table at that one event, and some people come up with the winning hand, right? And that's not taking anything away from anybody that wins them, but it's also the reason why there's still fantastic racers who've won countless events that are still not world champions, because the timing has not lined up. It wasn't their weekend on that track, as kind of Tater explained it, right? They haven't had their weekend yet. And so, yeah, it was pretty cool to talk to Tater about it. He was really cool and realistic. I started by asking him, hey, man, how has everybody been reaching out to you, talking to you about this, or trying to get you on their team? Or he's like, he said he had his phone turned off.
Oh, man.
And during the mains and the main day and all that. And he said when he finally turned his phone on, he had over 200
Oof. Kept going off.
Yeah, he's like, it's just like that had to be kind of cool because, that is a distraction, right? Like, we talked about, I'm talking to you while we're at the race and all that. Well, he was able to kind of turn it all off and kind of live in the moment, which has got to be so rare these days to turn off all your communication like that and concentrate on sort of the thing at hand. And probably felt really good to be kind of disconnected and to only be, which is so difficult these days, to only be focused on the one thing on that day and that weekend, which was to do their best in those races. And obviously, as we watched, he was fantastic.
Mel Marks checking in from YouTube. He says the mod coverage was great. So Jason, any thoughts on the Schumacher LD3 buggy?
It's tough for me because we worked on the body for that car quite a while ago, and so the fact that they're just releasing the information on the car being available, it doesn't hit me as it does everybody, because we've kind of been looking at this car coming for a while. It didn't have all the parts on it, the car that we used to work on the body, and Paul worked on that. But it was a long time ago when Paul was working on that project. And what's interesting to me, and I don't know if Gotti or even Kirby has seen this, but they're offering the car in 3 different versions. And that is, nobody's done that yet. They have I think pretty much a carpet car, a dirt car, and then there's a stock car, which has lightweight components. So I've never seen 3 versions of the same vehicle available at
I don't think X-Ray's even done that.
Yeah, they're pretty standard with one kit. They do one kit,
make it universal.
And and they kind of get the job done with that. Associated's been using the 2 kit variation for a while. I would like to see everybody, and I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know on the different kits, but I would like to see everybody have one kit and a little bit more
adjustability.
Not so much the adjustability, but I just kind of feel like we're getting closer to being able to get it done with one kit again, because all the dirt racing we're doing is high traction. All the carpet and turf is high traction. So I feel like we should be getting closer to doing it with one kit again. Now, the issue I think they're having is a lot of the kits for carpet, they like to have a gear diff, and for dirt, they like to use a ball diff. So I think that's the main difference. But kind of adding another wrinkle in with the Schumacher here is they have a stock version, which the stock version comes with a lot more lightweight drivetrain items, and then carbon chassis, I believe. Paul and I were kind of going over the options today. It's pretty cool that they have a stock version, but it tells you how large the class is. And but yeah, 3 versions. Didn't think that would happen, but one thing I will say is the Schumacher. I've always liked their 4-wheel drive cars. For one way or another, I love the one I had in the early 90s. I had the Cat 2000. I love that thing.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And they've always made a good 4-wheel, and 2-wheel. They've always been a little not on center with that vehicle. I think they've always had success on high, AstroTurf, grass tracks has always been their forte. But the last 5 years, they've really kind of reeled in the two-wheel buggy design, and they are making pretty big strides with that two-wheel drive car, and to the point where it looks as good or better than any of the other cars out there on the track. Brock got third at the Worlds in two-wheel. Cavallari got fifth. We talked about him on our Worlds episode having a great Worlds. I think he, out of the 5 rounds of qualifying, I think he had 4 great runs that were top 10s. And he obviously had that first main that didn't go his way with the little penalty call. But I've been really impressed with the Schumacher cars. And then in particular, the two-wheel drive coming along better than I think they're even putting more effort in the two-wheel than the four-wheel, even though I think they're a little more known. Well, it's where their world championship is in four-wheel. They won the Worlds in 87. I really like this new car, and I think they're growing. I think they do better than people I think believe anyway. But I think that they are going to start growing a little bit more. Hold on, I got to go answer something. Hold on.
Oh, he's gonna get his DoorDash. Mark says I didn't know about the 3 version spec stock. Yes, and I agree on. Oh, there you go, Jason. Empty the pockets, Mel. Just buy all 3 kits. Though I don't know if I'd race stock though. Though stock is can't imagine back in our day racing stock. Everybody wanted to race mod. Jeff Storm saying, how does one race an RC car? Exactly. I mean, I can put it out on the track, but being competitive, that's the question. How do you be competitive, Jeff? And Jeff Storm, you got to get on live. Haven't seen you drop on Twitch yet. Jeff's got his own video game channel. I was checking it out. Jeff. And plus, I got messages here asking me about the people tagging me. Just push the trigger and go. People tagging me in post about the Joel Johnson edition, and I still have not received any confirmation that mine shipped. So, but you guys are tagging me in post that everybody's getting them. Hobbyplex, Alex Sturgeon, it's got his. Dirk Anderson got his. And then I'm getting tagged this week on other ones, and I'm like, damn, what's going on here? But from what I'm hearing, I don't know if it's true. I heard they made 2,500 of them. I don't know if that's worldwide or just what's coming here to the United States. But if that's the case, and I heard they shipped out to the hobby shops mainly. So, I don't know. I might be out of luck. Jeff, thanks, buddy. Going to start up again soon. Gaming it. Yeah. I thought you'd be on during the beta, Jeff. The Call of Duty beta dropped. Open beta. Of course, that was for PlayStation. I don't believe you have one of those. You're a PC guy and Xbox. But I believe PC opens up October 12th, the beta. So I got to get on. And I had people ask me if I was going to stream video games too, but I don't know. Who wants to watch that? But maybe I will. Maybe I'll throw that up on the Radio Impound podcast page when Jason's off at races and I have nothing to talk about. Yeah, time is the issue, Jeff. Time is the issue. And yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, actually, a lot of RC guys are racing. A lot of RC guys that race, they do video game. I know Rivkin mentioned it on the at the Worlds that him and Tater play a lot, and I know a few guys that play, and so I guess they would. Yeah, you'll subscribe right away to my channel, and you'd be the only one subscribing. the one subscriber. That's pretty cool though. I might just do it for fun and just to have it. But yeah, so you guys out there that are tagging me in these Joel Johnson 60th anniversary card that you guys are getting, please stop tagging me. I've been bugging Jason through the whole week. Like, I'm like, dude, can you find out what's going on? Like, what's happening here? But I kind of pre-ordered late, so I kind of figured that I was not getting one. But I do have contacts that said that if I don't get one, they'll help me out. Well, I appreciate that, Jeff Storm saying that if I let him know, he'll help me out also. So yeah, I do have guys out there that are saying the same thing. Just let them know. I only need one kit, and I'm kind of thinking I don't want to build it either. Well, I know I don't want to build it, but I mean, I was thinking, should I just keep this thing in the box? Like, especially if there's only 2,500 of them out there. I don't know how true that is, but if that ends up being the case, I mean, shouldn't I just keep this thing sealed? I would imagine I should. I don't know if it'll be worth anything down the road. I don't know. Like, I don't plan on being around that long, but but yeah, you guys are killing me, tagging me in those. So I also got messages saying that people are not receiving notifications on YouTube and stuff. I think and on Facebook, like I said before, you got to go in the settings and just click. Make sure you go in there and check it, because anytime anything updates, you got to hit the notification bell and stuff like that. And then we're also on Kick, and Jeff Storm, you'll know about this. I'm also putting stuff up on Kick because they're a little bit more forgiving than YouTube, and I don't know. I always get this feeling like I'm going to get kicked off one of these platforms. Not that I'm doing anything wrong, but well, I don't know. Facebook always hits me with stuff that I have no idea why they're hitting me with these things, but they'll mute certain sections of the show, stuff like that. And I'm not even playing music or anything, but I just get these weird notifications for that. So I went over to Kick, registered Radio Impound Podcast. Just go over there. It's just like YouTube. And I know that's asking a lot of you guys, because people don't like to stray away from Facebook or YouTube, but Kick is something you should check out. It's just like YouTube. Go over there, register, search Radio Impound Podcast, and subscribe. Jeff says, "Now you're good. YouTube gets you for copyrights. I know all too well." Yeah, but that's the thing. Not really. YouTube doesn't really bother me with the Radio Impound Podcast, but if I try to stream any games, I'm doing the same thing everybody else is doing, and I'm still getting dinged for stuff. It's really weird. Yeah, Kick is pretty wide open. So, you guys out there listening, sub us on YouTube, give us a like on Facebook, but also just check out Kick. They have an app. Go on there and just search Radio Impound and give us a click there in case I get kicked off the other two platforms. Right, Jason?
Yeah, you can see Sammy Moran taking the A1 here. He was.
Oh, you were just talking about him earlier, blowing off the track there. Yeah.
He was hauling ass in these. Definitely the first two mains. He won the overall, but man, that first main, he was hauling. So yeah, Jeff Storms, good to see him on here.
Yeah, I was just chatting it up with Jeff really while you were gone. Jeff's streams video games, So
Good.
we know you love video games and stuff like that. So
We love it.
yeah. Should come out with the RC video game, J Concepts Racing.
What was the name of the was it Team Losi Racing? What was the name?
Yeah,
of
we've talked about this plenty of times. God, I knew you were going there too, dude. Yeah, that game was, oh my God. I can't believe they did that. That's when I first saw it was at the Chicago show when Jack Johnson and them had it there at the booth, and Jack Johnson's like, "So how do you like it?" And I'm just like, I don't like what I thought this was gonna be like RC racing, like actual. Yeah, Jim Hughes is saying the game is terrible. Jason say it's really bad. Yeah, giant snowmen throwing snowballs at you. You know, I was just like, what is this? I expected something sort of like that racing game that's out there today. What is it called? VR?
VRC.
I don't even know if that's still around, but yeah. I just wanted to see some real tracks, like, you know. But yeah, that was really bad. And then we got a bunch of them at Trinity, and we had to try and sell them.
I wonder if is the VRC thing still doing as well?
I have no idea, man. Maybe Jeff would know.
I mean, I don't really hear anybody talking about it anymore. Although I know people are doing it, but it just seems like it. I used to hear about it more, or maybe I just hung around people.
You know, when I was watching this INS race, I did see people in the chat mention it.
Okay.
So it must be still around, and you know, because people were saying they'd like to see this track on there or something like that. So, but
yeah, so we got the 4-wheel mod buggy A1 going on here in the background. Tater Sontag, you can see his car. He just pulled up on right in front of the camera there. But yeah, another Brock TQ'd. Spencer was second. Tater, I'm sorry, it was a Brock, Dakota, Spencer, Davey, Tater, Mayfield, Aiden Horn, Bornhorst, Evans, Rinnerneck, and Lee Setzer was 11th here. 11 cars in our races. So, I mean, this is a stacked field, and they're going to have this again coming up here in a week or so. So, yeah, these guys are moving on quick, and these mains, they were wild, man. This, you know, we talked about it earlier, how Mayfield won that first main, a 2-wheel, and the second main, Spencer kind of had a nice little lead, made a mistake. Then the race got chaotic. Mayfield got together with Brock once, and Aiden ended up winning that one. And then the third main came down. Mayfield was racing with Brock again, and Brock went wide, got loose off the big quad, kind of gave room for Mayfield. And I'm thinking, oh, Ryan's got this win. And, you know, it was one of those situations where you just don't ever know what's going to happen. There's no way to predict it. And he comes down the hill. It got just a touch loose, and he got stuck on the pipe. And Aiden went by him and finished the last lap and won the overall. And it was just like, oh, man. Like, I thought Ryan had it for sure. But it just shows you that you just never know. It just, you know, you just
like that damn Aiden. You
can predict it as much as you want, but you never know for sure. And there's favorites. Like, I was thinking about this one day, it kind of dawned on me. And before the Worlds, I was saying the fastest 3 guys I had seen at Hobby Action were Spencer, Dakota, and Brock. And I was kind of thinking they were the 3 favorites. Well, and then I was thinking Aiden was in that group of 4 to 5, right? And I was thinking back about the Worlds, and I was like, well, wait a second here. I'm like, Spencer got second, Brock got third, and Aiden got fourth. And so I had 3 of the top 4 picked correctly. The only difference was I didn't have Tater winning it.
Mm.
But it just shows you the projection ahead of time might have been swapping Tater and Dakota positions, right? And then I would have had the complete top 4. But
Yeah.
no, that's not how it works out. This is the real world. Things change.
Adam Rails in the chat saying this layout was gnarly and a lot of fun.
I loved it till I started jumping the quad. And then I just was like,
do you listen to your peers? And then the
like,
fun was no longer there.
I'm like, what am I doing?
You're like, well, I'm out of this race. Might as well take this guy out. And might as well take this guy out. Yeah. Yeah, peace out on that quad, Jason.
It was, man. What was weird, I was telling Paul later, I'm like, I didn't run my B main. I made it into the B main. There was a C main. I made it in the B main, a 2-wheel mod, and I didn't run it. I let another driver bump up into the main. They just pulled me out of the race because I was like, you know what? I'm going to get my car ready. I don't want to have to do the tires all over again.
Right, and you're going to be a hazard out there anyway.
I'll just wait for my main. And God, it felt like I'd never been out there. I was like, man, maybe I should have ran that main. Then I wouldn't have been such a mess. I felt like I couldn't even go straight. Like, what's really strange watching this, and, Adam will, I'm sure, back it up, but every little movement of the steering wheel on this track, since there's so much traction, except for after the quad. Right here, after the quad, not a lot of traction.
Right around that turn, yeah.
Right here, this step on, step off, coming on the straightaway. I felt like I could never go straight on that step on, step off. I would jump onto it. I'd make a little steering correction. The car would just jerk left or right. And then it would be like, I'm just reacting on the fly right here, coming up, step on. It looks so easy when you watch these guys, but I would land, make a little steering adjustment. The car would just dart that direction. Man, it was so hard to drive. It was crazy.
Yeah, these guys make it look easy.
Yeah, and and to do it slow, I could go, like I said, when I went around the track and I just did the triple, I didn't quad, and I kind of went around at my own pace. It wasn't that difficult. But to start to bump up the pace, you start to bump up the pace and go a little quicker or want to go quicker. It makes all those things happen much quicker and erratic. And Adam mentioned here, very edgy, and that's exactly what it was. It's just, I always felt like it was on the verge of flipping over, and definitely not comfortable. That's for sure.
Jeff's saying my new goal is just finishing a race without braking, regardless of what main I'm in. Yeah, exactly.
There's me.
Yeah. Oh, there you are. You're just like, whew, jeez. You're like, Dakota got that one. Spencer, look at that. There's your top 3.
There they are.
That was your prediction for the Worlds. Somewhere, something like that.
Yeah. And let's see. So, yeah, we move into, they had a big race in Europe as well. They had the Buggy Land event, which Davide Ungaro, he won both of those classes. Obviously coming off of his Worlds win. And then he had a pretty good race, and we were all watching that in the pits during this event. We were watching it in the pits of what was going on, and he had a good race going at the beginning. Elliott Boots was running well, Davide, of course, and Juan Carlos Canas. they were running really well, and Davide ended up winning Nitro Buggy, and he won E-Buggy. So pretty cool. That was going on while we were in the pits, and we were kind of had that on our phones watching that main. So that was pretty fun. Dakota getting in here for an interview with Matt. So moving on a little bit, I was talking to Jim Hughes, brought up a point. I tagged you in it during the week, and Jim's really always really funny on Facebook.
Oh yeah, the West Coast thing.
The way he phrases things, but I meant to have a little chat about that. And basically, his standpoint, reading between the lines, is he's like, I'm a California guy, and we used to dominate racing. Everybody wanted to be from California and practice and move to California to be a better RC driver. And then today, with the exception of some up and coming guys, that's not really the case right now. And, I know when I was a kid, I wanted to move to California because I thought that that's where you needed to be practicing and racing at to be a top level racer. And it really was true. I mean, for the most part, it was very true. And obviously, my era was the Kinwald days, and he kind of set the standard there for practice and preparation. And look at these short courses just driving into each other.
Dude, that's what I'm watching. I'm like, my God.
And Adam Rails is checked out.
Gone. Look at
See you guys. Maybe I need to get a short course.
Yeah. There you go.
I could be in there battling.
Oh, it looks like you out there.
Yeah. So that used to be the thing with California, and Jim kind of mentioning it on his Facebook page. He's kind of like, what happened to us? Why aren't our guys? It's not that the California drivers aren't good. I mean, there's a ton of California guys, and I think of off the top of my head quite a few, but the concentration on stock racing these days has probably kind of stunted some people's growth in RC. So you look at the concentration on stock these days compared to the old days. It used to be, modified only.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about while you were gone. It's like you wanted to race mod. You didn't want to race stock.
Yeah. And so my theory on the whole thing, first of all, is in the days like Jim is talking about, in the older days, we'll say the 80s and 90s, you had Associated and you had Losi, who were from Southern California. That is where the company was located, and that's where they did it primarily a lot of their racing. And they had a lot of indoor tracks in those days and outdoor tracks, and primarily they raced 10 scale. There was no such thing really as doing a lot of 8 scale racing. And and when Kinwald kind of hit the game, I think there was Cliff Lett, Jay Halsey, Gil Losi, Jack Johnson, that group, Rick Howard, and everybody that lived in that area. That was like the first, definitely some of the first sets of drivers. But then you kind of got into the Kinwald generation, and he was pushing the limit so hard with his weekly race schedule. He wanted to club race and race as much as he could every week. So Kinwald was pushing the limit for everybody, and he was traveling to many of these different tracks that were open in Southern California. He raced wherever he could race. He developed a following, and he really kind of put pressure on the rest of the group that, you kind of needed to follow suit. Otherwise, you're going to be left behind. And so I think that's why, there was, definitely a little breeding ground of racers that were, kind of in that generation also, because Kinwald was pushing so hard and people kind of wanted to follow him around. And they were really successful at doing that. And with the manufacturers being there associated in Losi, the kit manufacturers, they were also battling, and they were using their racers, the Kinwalds, the Mark Pavitases, everybody that was available to keep, pushing the product. And they were trying to develop things on a weekly basis, develop racing RC cars. And that was really their focus. So I think the intense battle between the manufacturers, the idea that there was racers that kind of got addicted to this schedule that some of the high-end drivers started doing, that it was kind of, it basically just blossomed that whole area into being sort of the mecca of RC racing. And the fact they had a lot of tracks, and you could do it many times a week. I remember when I was racing, it was like, well, in Florida, I can only race once a week, and Kinwald can race 4 or 5 times a week if he wants.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a pretty big difference. But, today, with OCRC going out, and there just isn't quite as many tracks as there used to be, and there's no key driver forcing everybody to kind of follow suit. There's definitely some key drivers and some great drivers, but the concentration on stock, and then also just not as much leadership from a racing standpoint, and the manufacturers not pushing the limit like they once did. So I think all that was California's advantage. And now that it's not existing near as much. If there's any California action that's really super busy right now, it's 8 scale. So 8 scale is definitely the most popular in many areas, but California now, and there still isn't that new guy that's just pushing everybody to the limits. You got Adam Drake, who, he should have been burnt out 10 years ago, but he just has so much stamina for RC. There should have been 10 new guys pushing the limits, pushing Adam Drake. And there just isn't. It's hard to come up to that level and stay there or surpass it. So it's interesting, and you have the Arizona crowd. You got, the Midwest seems to be the new, almost really like the new California in terms of their talent, talented racers and talented drivers. We have so many younger, almost like the Traxxas Slash generation of entry-level guys are coming from the Midwest. Obviously, Tater Sontag just won the Worlds. He's from Michigan. In the 90s, if you would have said somebody from Michigan won the Worlds, you'd be like, what?
Yeah. No, how's that possible? He beat a California guy?
When the hell does he race?
Yeah.
But today, you got Arizona, Spencer and Mayfield winning a couple Worlds each. And from Arizona, you got, obviously, Dakota's the hottest driver probably in the business in the USA. Overall, he's from Michigan, or was born or from Michigan originally. You got Aiden Horn and Al Horn and his factory tracks group of guys. Up in, they're in their early or late teens, I guess you could say, early 20s, and it's showing up in the results. And obviously Brock, he's one of the top 10 scale guys, but very strange, very strange situation going on. Brock was from Utah. Then he moved to Vegas and really kind of, he'd gotten some racing at OCRC as a younger racer, him and his brother. But they were kind of right on the tail end of California racing being so dominant. And, Steve mentioning here, we got Cole Tollard, who's from Wisconsin, but another guy so good now is Paul Lemieux's son, Chase Lemieux.
Yeah.
He's getting to the point where he's one of the top racers in the country now. And he's from Wisconsin.
Damn.
So
Midwesters, man.
And you think about the Hobbyplex in Omaha. Yeah, it's just not dominated by California anymore. Which,
I mean, that's what we used to say back in the day. Like, well, the California guys, they can race year round.
mm-hmm.
Where, like, we just had outdoor tracks here, and then of course in the winter, you couldn't do nothing.
Yeah, and there's a million excuses.
Yeah, it was kind of an excuse. Well, they can race all.
Yeah, I mean that's ultimately the excuse, but
yeah.
The people that can drive, you can drive. I mean, for us, I could race year round, but I could only race one time a week. So, you could go and practice, but you could only run a race once a week. And I mean, the times I went out to visit Kinwald as a kid, man, I raced like, I just wanted to race every day, right? Like, it's like, where are we going today? And Brian's like, oh, we go to RCH today, or there tomorrow, we go over here. Or, and he just, they had a place to go. And it really was an amazing era. And right now it's just not in that area. It's, they're having this, there's a lot of other good racing going on, but it's affecting the Midwest right now. But those racers are getting older also. They're not kids anymore either. They're in their late teens, early 20s. And they're, what's that next group of racers coming through? Who's 10, 12 years old? That's where are they from? Do they got it? And so I think it's just the intensity that existed in the old days between the manufacturers. The manufacturers were in California. They had the budget, the money, if they wanted to push the limit locally and test, tune, create product. The drivers reaped the benefits of that battle between the manufacturers. They got more opportunity, and then the tracks themselves generated more entries because of the area, the population, and there was more places to race on a weekly basis, and it really worked out.
I was just on Schumacher's browsing their site here, trying to pull up its.
Pulling up the new car.
Yeah, but it's slow.
The other thing that we have today is, we've been talking about it this whole show, but we have a lot of events, a lot of racing.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
Back then you had more time, or the general group, to devote to your craft.
practice.
Working on practicing, working on your program, and sort of just the repetitiveness of race prepare competition. Now there's this kind of this bad habit that racers are in now where they want to go big race to big race because they feel that's where they get the largest bang for their buck in terms of they're looking to further their racing, but they feel like in order to further their racing, they have to run a big race. Or a named race, a race with marketing, a race. So they're being attracted to these events because of the marketing of the event and what's going on during the event. But in many cases, they're missing out on the in-between. I think like last year, for instance, me, Paul, and Tyler, we did a lot of running at Beachline prior to the Florida Carpet Champs last year. And I really enjoyed going over there and racing with them and running the club racing, even though it was a little bigger commitment on our end, weekly or on the weekend. I really enjoyed that side of it. And every time I left there, I wanted to do it again. And this year, we haven't been over there because of just we're working and we've been busy. And the Worlds obviously took some time in there, a good chunk of time that we were probably using last year. But I really enjoyed those moments last year with both of those guys racing at Beachline. And, I think this year we're going to kind of show up a little less prepared track time wise. And I'm a little bit embarrassed about that for myself because I still hope that I can go around okay, but it's difficult to put everything at a high degree of attention and to prioritize everything that highly. We have 8 scale races to attend. We got, the scale events, we got monster truck, we got, all these things we have to and we want to be a part of. But, it comes at a price. The price is, we don't get as much time to go and drive when we want to drive.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying too, like the factory, like I remember thinking that too back in the day, like, Associated and Losi are out there. These guys have such an advantage, like, you know what I mean? Like they got the factory at their disposal. Yeah. And I remember saying that back then too. I mean, I was just blaming, coming up with excuses, like you said.
But, yeah, I mean, there's a million excuses, but
like Kirby was mentioning it on the pod the one time when I forget what race it was, but it was in Vineland when Ken Wald came over, and it was like just a huge thing, like it was like a rock star showing up. Oh my God, Ken Wald's coming to the East Coast. I don't know what year that was, but.
The race I used to love going to was the Georgia State Championships and the Colonel's Classic, which was those events were in Savannah, Georgia, and
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
We used to get 300, 350 entries out there for those races, and man, those were awesome events. And I wish you could generate that feeling again, but. You just can't. So there's the body there, the S2 that Paul was working on a long time ago already for this car, but it's out now. And they did a great job with this car. This will probably be their best-selling 2-wheel yet. And they'll keep working on this. I think, what we're really waiting to see, in this segment is we would like to see TLR's new car. They need to get their new car out. Obviously, they was good enough to win the Worlds. We talked about that, but you still got to have that new item that people want. So that's where they are.
Yeah, and today people want stuff like, we used to joke about the X-Ray every 6 months. A new kit was coming out, but I don't know. People love that stuff, man. Especially today, everybody wants new. They feel like if it's a year old, it's outdated. I know you don't like that, but I just think that's how society is today. Like everything's like the phones. Every year, it's a new one. You know what I mean? Even if it's not even an upgraded one, like it's just minor tweaks, and it's like a brand new one. And everybody gets excited.
Well, what it is it's
is it cost effective for these companies to do that? That's the thing. What can you really change? I mean,
I think what it is it's a corporate realizing that new sells, and that's what happens in the whole world is new sells, and you're always generating that new thing, and RC cars are no different. New definitely sells, and it will. I predict this will probably be one of their best-selling two-wheel cars they've had in a while, and I'm sure if TLR comes out with a new one, they'll do well.
Oh, yeah, everybody go nuts. These are out of stock, Jason, all of them.
Well, it's just really they're just showing the release date today. I don't know
today.
Yeah, this information just came out today on this car.
Oh, because it says on the stock one it said 2/11/23. I don't know why it said that.
Oh, it's backwards though for us.
Oh, jeez. November. So it's November.
Yeah.
Oh, why they do that? Huh?
I think.
I don't like that. You gotta change that.
Well,
I know it's a thing that over in Europe they do that, right?
Yeah, the way I think it could be this. This might be the way you're supposed to do it, but it's the second day of November 2023. That's how they read it.
We always like that.
We see it as November 2nd, 2023, but the way that their system is, it's the second day of November 2023.
Yeah, they need to change that.
You're like, well, according to this thing should already been out.
I know. I don't know. Like if I'm browsing this site like a noob and I see that, I'm like, well, this came out in February. I guess I'm still waiting. They're out of stock. Like, I mean, come on. Yeah, change that. Well, I mean, look at this too, though. Like, what is that in front of the $3.99? I mean, come on.
That's pounds.
Yeah, I know, but you don't need to put that in there for me.
Just make it $3.99.
I mean, it's $3.99, right?
Yeah.
Over there, it's $3.99.
Correct.
So just make it $3.99. No need to be cute about it. Well, that's my suggestion, Schumacher. All right, so Dave Bowman's saying, how about at least some control arms you don't have to grind, Lucy? Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, there you go, Lucy.
I hope that's part of the new vehicle when it comes out eventually.
You don't have to grind them.
No grinding.
I mean, that is annoying, right? I mean, but...
yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly. I mean, I don't have the car. I don't know exactly what the situation is, but yeah, you want it. You want.
Oh, elaborate, Dave. But I mean, don't you always have to do something anyway to the arms, regardless, before you ream them?
Well,
what do you mean grind?
I honestly don't know.
Well, Matt is saying it takes 20 seconds to cut the arms. Come on, man. So he's telling Dave, like, hey, it only takes 20 seconds. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
20 seconds seems like a long time.
Well, 20 seconds is long for you.
In this day and age, it is, right? 20 seconds?
You should have seen me cutting out bodies today. That definitely takes more than 20 seconds.
I know you guys can make a joke out of that 20 seconds being long, but You cut 2 holes off. All right. Well, Losi, cut that 20 seconds down to 1. How about that?
1 second.
1 second. Yeah, Jim's laughing. He knows what I mean. Yeah, 20 seconds is a long time for me. Steve Richter's saying cut arms, Dremel casters, and rear arms. All right, checking in from YouTube, the Smoking Rat. I like that. Smoking Rat. I just got a B6.1 running that someone gifted me. No way am I running the latest and greatest anytime soon. Yeah, it's fine, right?
Perfectly fine.
Smoking Rat's also saying that's why they put as estimated due date. So November 2nd, 23 is the and lose the due date, put launch date. That sounds better. Launch. Got some recommendations. I'll have to reach out to Schumacher.
Yeah, I mean that's your gift email.
That's my right. In fact, I emailed the NFL office recently.
Okay.
Jeff Storm saying he's still thinking about KFC. Oh, he's still thinking about KFC. That Colonel race that you were at, Jason. All right.
The Colonel's Classic.
Yeah, Smoking Rat saying it gets born on November 2nd. Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. It gets born on November 2nd. I just like to hear launch date. Sounds cool.
Get launched.
Now, is that a worldwide launch date? November 2nd, or just over in Europe, UK?
I don't know how it all works.
But it comes with the J Concepts body, right? So doesn't get any better than that. All right. How do I get off this page?
There's like a little X at the top.
There we go. The race back up.
Yeah, so let's talk about what's coming up. We got
So you're
heading to the Monster Truck World Finals this weekend.
Yeah, so you got your truck all ready to rock?
Well, Rich has most of the stuff up there with him because, he had to take off like a week ago for the scale event.
Yeah.
So I got some work to do when I get up there to make sure everything's running. Tyler did do some shocks the other day for one of my monster trucks, and I've been cutting out some bodies and kind of getting my new bodies ready to go so I can look good.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty happy about being able to put some new bodies on the trucks for the race, get them decaled up, and I'm pretty pumped. It should be fun.
Yeah, so can we watch this? Can we watch this online then?
No, gotta be there.
Got to be there.
This is old school, man.
You got to get Mod live up there.
That would be pretty fun.
I mean, why not?
He could have an interview after every single race. There'd be a winner. It'd be interesting to do a live version because there would be so much going on. There'd always be like a little race to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good idea.
Dustin Spallone says he's prepping the old stadium truck for Masters of Dirt.
He's going to need it there, going for that overall championship. It's a good gimmick that they have there.
Yeah, Matt Wilson saying, just say the word, Jason. He'll be up there. Well, we just said the word, so start heading up. When's the race? Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or just?
I think Matt's getting a week off. I think he said it was 5 weeks in a row. He was at events 5 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
When he was doing this one, I believe it was 5 weeks in a row. So he needs he definitely deserves a little break. So yeah, we got the monster truck race, And then we're going to roll into our NCTS event, which is going to be in Iowa. I'm going to head over there with Tyler. Matt will be there, Mod Media, doing some media work, bringing that live, which is going to be really cool. New track, we've never been there before. Then the other drivers will be over at the Masters of Dirt, doing the big race there. So it's going to be pretty crazy. What I'm thinking is, I was just talking about, it's a nice little gimmick that they have an overall championship at the Masters of Dirt, because it really forces you to run stadium truck, which I think is great. And it makes the racer commit to racing the 3 classes. So effectively, by kind of dangling that carrot out there of an overall champion, it forces you to run a 3rd class, which is great thinking on their part. And great work by Brett Densford and those guys, kind of putting that format to use that makes you want to run 3 classes. So it works.
Well, I can go up to this race this weekend with my phone and broadcast it for you.
Absolutely.
I can cover for Matt Olson, because he's saying he's joined his 2 weeks off. Olson's saying, I'm joining my 2 weeks off, back at it again for an NCTS next week. So he's back at it next week.
I'm pretty sure nobody deserves a break like Matt does right now after that
the Worlds and then this.
All these different events. He said it was, I think he said 5 in a row. So he deserves his little break. And then he'll be back at it.
So I can go up there with my phone, and I could put this on. Look at this. I could be official. So,
look at this, Matt.
Look at that, Matt. Got my own shirt. I supported Mod Live. Bought a shirt.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You got a world shirt too from Larry, right?
I got a world shirt from Larry, and then I have my J Concepts world shirt. We are rocking.
Getting all kinds of hooked up.
Look at that. Matt Olson saying I'm factory now. Yeah, you don't want me to go up there doing that.
What you should have did is fly into the Worlds with the shirt on.
Just rode the pits.
Well, you just go you just blend right in.
Yeah. Matt's like, who the hell is that guy? He's not on the payroll.
Yeah, blending right in.
Yeah. Well, that's why I got the shirt for, so I can go to a race and just act like I'm part of Live or Mod Live, and act like I'm part of them.
He doesn't realize it. He just sees the shirt. He's just, here, take the camera. Da, 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 da. He just starts barking out orders to you, and you're just like, okay, yeah.
Right. Nah, man. Seriously. I mean, those guys, Matt's doing a great job, the whole crew. So I had to throw some love their way. Just Storm saying, Matt, your coverage is awesome. Smoking Rat, I guess this is what you were talking about while I was gone. 3 classes to win overall reminds me of the idea of a Triple Crown or something. That's cool.
Yeah, that's the idea. So they all 3 are awarded individually like normal, but there is a points being tabulated while the main events are going on, and then the lowest score, I believe, wins the overall. So there's technically a modified master and a stock master.
Stock master.
The one that I think they haven't added yet, which I think will be pretty big, is a 40+ master. They haven't added that yet.
Jeez.
I think that.
How did I know?
I think they have 2 of the classes already.
Oh my God.
I think there's 2-wheel and 4-wheel, and all they need to do is add that truck. They could have a 40 plus master.
Oh man, Paul Ciccarello will be there then.
Paul Ciccarello, Paul Wynn, Brent Telke, Al Horn, me.
Yeah.
Who am I kidding? I'm not running 3 classes.
Dustin's saying he heard that there's some West Coasters coming to lay to SmackDown in Connecticut.
That'll be good. I'm really hoping to see a good turnout out there, and the DeFalco's really, they got a ton of passion for the RC monster trucks, and I mean it's great that they're involved. I mean we couldn't get as much done in RC monster trucks without those guys and the passion. That's what all this stuff really boils down to, is you got to have the people with the passion behind the scenes in every single aspect of it, whether it's the passion to build the track, build the cars, race the cars, manufacture the product, organize the events, cover the events. It's all about people having the passion to put this stuff together, because it's not like when you're doing these things, you finish 5 events in a row doing live coverage. Like, Matt doesn't turn into a millionaire from doing 5 different events. He doesn't get signed to a ESPN contract. He's got to go to the next, he's going to go to the next events and do the same work and try to upgrade his service. And it's, so that's why, kind of supporting everybody that supports this business is important. And, obviously Matt and his stuff is part of that. The irritating part is when there's individuals or companies that try to jump into this and they're not supporting it. All they want to do is take from it. And so that's the disappointing part, is there are a ton of those out there too that just want to take from this, steal ideas, rip off products, just a bunch of, kind of garbage and garbage in, garbage out, and they just want to take from the business. But the reality is there's a lot of groundwork in this that you got to pay your dues, and you got to have the passion, and those are the ones that should be rewarded, in my opinion.
Matt's agreeing, 100% passion. The Smoking Rat, 40 plus and true, is truly the master of dirt. There you go, Jason.
Yeah, that's tough to, they used to call it master's class, right? The 40 plus guys.
Yeah.
They used to be called masters, and
that sounds like legendary thing, like masters.
What's kind of interesting, that's kind of disappointing, I guess, to me, is I kind of suck at 40 plus. Like I do. I mean, I do okay.
So you're racing to the level of your competition? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just not that great at it, to be honest. Like, I was a much better normal competitor than I am a 40 plus racer. I don't know what it is, but it's just, to me, like, people talk to me about it sometimes, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be a great 40 plus racer. I was already a great racer. Sure, I want to do well and I want to win, but I don't just travel race to race to be the best 40 plus racer. It just doesn't do it.
So don't race it.
Well, it just doesn't do it for me. It's not like I have all this motivation to work on my cars and all this motivation to practice and prepare. I kind of have to force myself to be excited about racing 40 plus, because it's just not the way that I guess that it doesn't
right.
That's not the way my mind works. To me, I'm always I don't do this because I want to be a great 40 plus racer. And like I've already had my time, you know what I mean? Like of being a racer. And now I feel like when I race 40 plus, it's sure you want to win, you want to do well, but it's just not the same.
No. You don't want to be remembered like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, but yeah,
I don't know.
it's
like racing stock.
Well,
back in our day.
it's difficult because you do want to do well, but it's just not like I'm not going home like wanting to work on my stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I won the 40 plus class.
Yeah,
Like,
you know,
it's not
but
something that
what's
you really.
weird is I like to win. Everybody likes to win, and even if it's 40 plus, you want to win, but it's still a mindset, right? Like I think in order to be good at any of this, um, I think no matter what, your mindset has to be the best racer you can be. And for some reason, when I race in that class, I don't have that same mindset. And I do see a lot of racers that don't have a problem with that. To them, they see a car, they see a race, and they have the right mentality to do it correctly. And yeah, so I don't know, you know,
I'm really not sure that the class is needed.
you know, but I do like the fact that the class exists. I think
You do.
I think that it just is. I do think that it's a great class to have, and we've had a lot of racers enjoy it. But like I said, I don't go to sleep at night or wake up in the morning thinking, you know, I want to be a 40 plus champion. Like it's hard for me. I want, like I said, I want to win. No matter what it is, everybody wants to win. But, you know, like when I was younger or whatever, and I was racing, I wanted, you know, I would go to bed at night. I would wake up in the morning thinking about being a champion of the highest level class. Right.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But yeah, so I don't know. But I think to do it right, it can't matter. It can't really matter what the name of the class is. I think when there's a mentality that you really need to be able to tap into, that no matter what it is, no matter what it's called, you have to put that race face and that race mentality on, and you fight to the bitter death, right? Like,
right.
And that is a great racer. I see guys like that all the time in RC, and I really envy their mindset towards it. But it is difficult for me to put myself in that mindset. But I do enjoy watching a lot of the racers do it, and there's some really good ones.
I don't know though, because these guys are racing the other classes, and then they're racing 40 plus, right? So
some people do, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm always like, well, 40 plus. I don't know. I don't really care.
Who was really tremendous
I don't
at
care who's in
this
40
race?
plus.
Al Horn was tremendous at this race in 40
Right.
plus. His lap times in qualifying, I mean, he was pretty close to putting in like A main runs in the modified class. His lap times are really, really good.
I just don't think that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think the class is needed. Like, I don't think you need it. Just throw those guys in there. So what we're doing is we're really going back to saying what I'm always trying to figure out is age going to affect these guys like Mayfield and stuff. And what we're saying is, well, 40 plus can't compete against those younger guys. So here's a 40 plus class for you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
The age does affect you for sure. I think
But we're curious to find out here soon, because
when it kicks in is the question. When does it actually kick in to where? And
apparently 40.
I thought when I raced, the last time I felt really, really good, besides that turf race that we just ran, that I did really good at, and I was doing pretty well in the modified class there, which was really the telltale sign. But before that race, I would say the last time I felt really good on the track was around 2017, and I was, I was like 40, 41 years old. I felt that was probably the last time I felt pretty confident, I guess you could say. But, of course, it's not super fair, because I don't, you also have to be, you have to have your mentality in place that's what you're there for, right?
Yeah.
And if you still are a pro and you're, a paid pro to be a top level racer, you might be able to put your mind still in that place it needs to be in to compete at a high level. So
we're going to find out soon here, like we were talking about with Mayfield, right? Because he's 30, what now? 36?
Well, he's 37.
37.
And so me and him are 10 years apart. And I'm 47. He's 37. Jared Tebow's 37. Ryan Cavallari is 37.
Wow. Yeah.
They're all the same age. And they are still doing extremely well with their racing and their driving. And I will even say better than I ever thought that they would. I thought that it would have been difficult to hold on as long as they have, but they've done a tremendous job doing it. But they also have a great mentality. They have their competitive nature and their mindset is extremely good for this. And they're going to show us how far you can take it.
Randy's saying, I think the more you race at least once a week, for example, it makes more of a difference compared to age. Okay.
I tend to think that if I raced weekly, and especially on a track like this, like we're watching in the background at Hoosier, I think I would definitely, it would benefit a lot. But it is, you have to be motivated to want to do that, and for me, people talk to me about that kind of stuff all the time. And I just say, look, my focus isn't on my personal racing. If my focus is on the company and our other racers, because they're better than I am. And if it was just about me and my racing, we would have never made it a couple months in the business.
Right.
So my focus is on our racers and the company and the products that we should have and create. And yeah,
I'd be satisfied with that.
If I wanted to, I could go to every single 10 scale race. I could bring a mechanic. I could race 3 classes. But it would be super selfish of me to do that. Now, sure, maybe there would be, 1 race a year that maybe I could do something like that, and it would be kind of fun. But, but I could, if I wanted to, I could go to every single one of these races. I could run 3 classes. I could have a mechanic if I just wanted to make it about myself, but it's not. It's really about the team. It's about the company. and improving the product and staying in the game.
Corey Jordan is asking, Gotti, when did it kick in? Probably about 22.
When other drivers were peaking, I was over the hill.
At my local track, that's when it started going downhill. Yeah.
I think my peak of racing, let's see, what age would I have been? I would say
35.
No. I thought I was done. When I was 35, I thought I was done.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, well, I can tell you exactly. In the year 2000, I thought.
In the year 2000.
In the year 2000, when I had Jared Tebow in my qualifier when he was 13 years old and he was kicking my ass, I knew I was done.
Wow. Really?
I mean,
Y2K hit Jason.
Well, I just knew it wasn't my future, right?
Right.
When he was 13 and he was in my qualifier and he was leading, I was running pretty well, and I remember him leading, and I was like, well.
Welp.
Yep. Just like the chat. Well.
Yeah.
So let's see, 97, I would have been, well, yeah, I was right around 20. I would say from 20 to about 23 years old is when I felt like I was probably at my best. At 16, did I make it 16 or 95?
96 Nats, man. Almost took down the double X4.
76.
How old were you then?
76 to 96. When I ran my first Worlds, I was 19, I think. And I wasn't quite ready at that time. I did pretty well, but by the time the next one came around, I was about, 21, 22. I think that's when I was probably at my peak.
Wait, 20, 21?
Yeah, I would say 20 to 23 years old, I think, is when I was about at my peak.
Wow. 96 Nats, how old were you?
Right in there.
Yeah. Wow, really?
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I guess it would be. Yeah, you almost took it down, Jason, double X4.
Well, the year before that.
Fell apart after that.
Well, the year before that.
God, Matt Olson was only 5 then.
Damn.
Don't we hate him? Yeah. Jeez. I'm becoming that grumpy old man. I'm hating these younger kids. All right. Well, before that, you were saying.
Well, I was going to say that the year before that in 95, I actually did better in 95 than I did in 96 at the Nationals. And then in 97 is when I made the main at the World. So basically the big years for me, 94, 95, 96, 97, that was probably the big span for me. Those are probably my most, the best group of years together, I would say.
Yeah. And then you're like, well, can't compete on a level I'd like to compete, so I'll just open up my own company.
Well, it comes quick because, you think like if 97, there's only 3 years until that race in 2000 when I felt Jared Tebow was 13 and running so well. So I was basically not that far out of what we could consider the peak years of my racing.
Yeah. Yep.
And 3 years later, I'm thinking, oh, I'm done.
I peaked and I'm going down that hill now.
I mean, it wasn't really true but that was my mindset was, wow, there's a 13-year-old and this guy is hauling ass. I'm like, damn. But you
Now
know
you
what? He's one of the best RC drivers of all time, so I wasn't too far off.
Yeah. Now you got Mayfield holding off all the teenagers. Mayfield, Dakota,
Yeah.
Spencer. Though Spencer's pretty young still.
I mean, you think about Tater, he just won the Worlds. He's 16.
Yeah. That's Jesus. Can't imagine. All right. Well, now you're going to the Monster Truck Finals. Monster Truck World Finals, which actually you do really good in. So
yeah, we'll see.
You'll be whooping up on them.
Yeah, see how it all goes. I mean, I really like prepping these trucks. I like taking pictures of them and looking at them because, you put a new body, new paint job, decals. You kind of you work a little different identity, and that's really fun for me. Like, I really like that side of it. We run you can put some different tires on them and they all look a little bit different, and that's fun for me. I like doing that. It's really, really addictive. Like, you look at the lap times here from this race.
Oh.
That was just up there. And, you look at Mayfield's, he just practically tied Spencer at the finish line there. That was them right there at the finish line. So coming down the straightaway, they finished it was four tenths apart at the finish line. And you look at the lap times here, and look who's got the best lap. Spencer has the fastest lap, but only a couple ticks behind is Mayfield, and actually his average was a little quicker. It's kind of interesting.
I think Brock might have had the fastest lap there. Maybe not.
Well, best is 18.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So obviously he's getting it done out there. The thing that Ryan has going for him is he's always been immensely talented. He started when he was 6 years old.
Jeez.
And his talent level has always been through the roof for this. And what helped him was maturity. He didn't really have to get any faster. What he had to do was get better mentally and better with the vehicles. And so actually being more mature has actually on the track has helped him. And it's extended his career a lot.
Yeah, big time. 37, man. All right, well, I guess you're getting ready to fly. You're flying out tomorrow, right?
Actually, no. I'm not going to fly till Friday. I'm going to do
Frontier.
No. I'm going to do another day here at the office, getting some more stuff done.
Oh, good.
I'm actually excited about getting into work tomorrow and getting some more stuff done.
Yeah. And it's too bad we can't watch that live, so maybe next time Mod Live will be up there. Be good. Oh, you know what? I think RC Madness has a cam though set up, don't they?
I don't know, maybe an outdoor cam.
Yeah, I think they have an outdoor cam shooting down on a track.
Well,
so I don't know how that setup is over there, but for the monster truck, but we wish you the best of luck. And I know a guy going up there, Kyle Batman, will be up there.
Oh, good.
I guarantee he will be. I didn't talk to him, but he's always up to those races. So
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I see him. I always say hi, and we chat.
yeah, good guy. So tell him I said hi when you see him.
And yeah, for everybody watching, that's we got some big races coming up to watch. Watch our NCTS event, of course, in Iowa. Matt Olson's going to be covering that. And then Masters of Dirt, same weekend, so you can flip back and forth. I think Danny Paz is going to be running the media over there at the Masters of Dirt. And I believe we're the main sponsor for the coverage there at Masters of Dirt, too. J Concepts is. So watch that. And
give him a like and subscribe.
Yeah, exactly.
Head over to jconcepts.net. Get all your gear. Head over to Mod Live. Get your shirt. It's a real nice shirt too. It's you know how I am with material. This is like real soft material. I love that. You don't feel like you're wearing sandpaper.
That's the next level.
Yeah, this is the next level. Actually, I think it says next level on it, doesn't it?
Oh, next level, yeah.
Or something like that. But that's exactly what you need to. Nice, lightweight, smooth, great material.
And man, I think we got a big 8-scale race, probably the last one of the year going on. AMS is coming up in November.
Oh no, yeah. Are you going to that?
Paul's going to be there. I'm not.
Oh, that's right. I think I asked you because if you were going, I love 8-scale.
And then, Florida Carpet Champs.
We're stacked.
That's down there, and that's going to be here in Florida. And then, of course, the team associated race that goes on at trackside. So we got an amazing October, November going right now.
Nice. Randy's saying he's going to be rocking some Rip decals here shortly.
Good.
Very nice. Cool. You get over to Stick It One. You can also get them at Stick It One. So, all right. Well, Jason, best of luck, man. Too bad I can't watch that for you, but I'd like to see how you're doing. But you'll keep me updated, and I'll check RC Madness' website, see if they had that cam set up. But yeah, best of luck out there. And then it's gonna be tough squeezing episodes in if you got the schedule you got coming up, but we'll try.
I should be here. Here. We should be able to get it done.
We'll try and get him in. So next week we'll check in and see how Jason did, see if he beat up on everybody up there.
It's always tough.
I mean, how many races are there? Like how many? I don't even know what you call the classes. So, but
I think there's 3 or 4 different overall.
That you're going to be in.
There's 3 or 4 different classes. I'm going to race in 2 classes, but you get to have multiple trucks.
Cool.
There's you get to have multiple trucks in each class. I believe you get 3 retros and 3 pro mods. So I'll technically be racing 6 trucks.
Jeez. Wow. Rich is going to be busy.
Yeah.
Get that truck ready. All right. Well, we wish you the best of luck, and then we'll check in next week and see how you did there and figure out which one of those events is coming up next.
Sounds
and
good.
We'll talk about that. So, all right, guys. Appreciate you joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe. It really helps us out. Head on over to YouTube, Facebook. Go over to Jason's page. You guys already know. Tell a friend now. Tell a friend. And if you're listening to the audio version, again, catch us on Facebook and YouTube and Kick if you like. See you next week, guys.
Thanks for joining us.